Hey buddies, John with Plantech, and today we're going to be doing a kind of a tutorial slash an update video to what's been going on. So I know I haven't put out a video for like a week and a half, and that's because I have been working on a kind of a Dead Space mobile. So I know EA like took it down, but I really enjoyed Dead Space Mobile, and I thought it was actually a really good third person uh, port of their Dead Space video games. So I decided to make a kind of a tutorial on how to do a game like that. I mean, part of my channel is taking games and destructing them and saying, hey, this is how they make it, this is how they do it, and you can get similar results by doing A, B, C, and D. So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, you can use this, you can use the Unity engine or you can use the CopperCube engine. My first tutorial for doing this is going to be use the CopperCube, and then we're going to move over to Unity to do a little bit more of an upgraded version. But in CopperCube it does Android, so we're going to export this to Android and have some fun with it. Also, CopperCube is easy for those who look at Unity are kind of like, I'm not going there. I want to look at another engine. CopperCube allows you to code, so coders out there can code, but also allows you to use behavior-based coding. Which, yes, it is still, to me, it's still a coding, even though it's, to me, not a true form. It's like one of those sub formats of coding. It does the job, it's just not as in-depth as actual coding. However, it does the job, and this is so far what I have. Now, I just exported from Blender my scene, and this is the first level that you're going to see. I haven't textured everything. Anything white has not been textured yet, so I'm still working on this, and this is not like a full, like, finished game ready level. This level is just for tutorial purposes, so it's not going to be like totally like pristine and everything. So I just exported it over to CopperCube so I could see how it works and the size comparison. So I do have my character, or a character, over here. As you can see, he's not textured. But if we go over to here, and then I'm gonna go view, select it. This, by the way, is Blender, so it's the latest version of Blender. However, I am actually using 2.49 still, because this user interface is a little bit easier to view. But this is my character guy, and then as you can see, the walls are listed a little bit higher for him. Also, that allow me to hang lights and everything from the wall. The reason why it was taking a little bit while, because normally I could just snap like something like this together pretty quickly, is that I actually had some Unity assets that I thought were actually pretty close to Dead Space, and this is just one of them. It's just a door panel and a floor, and I was actually playing around with just using these, but since I already have the level pretty much made using open source or publicly released material, I'm just gonna continue doing that. Yeah, it's not gonna be as great as the Unity asset group, but it's gonna work, and I'm gonna be able to release everything in this tutorial without worrying about being sued or having complaints or having YouTube take down the video and everything else. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Oh, also, this model is also available. I hired a guy, a guy, I want to say like last year, to model them, and that's part of where my YouTube money goes, guys. I hire artists to create free assets for you guys to download, and all I have to do is finish animating him, get some weapons for him, and then you guys can download them or whatever you want to do. So yeah, we have our entry bay over here, kind of like a fixing station over here. This is kind of like your, where they go and like get stuff repaired. Not like a full-on level. Like I was expecting like a couple of trees. See, to me, this is a tree set, or a couple rooms, quarters. I was gonna expand it, but I was like, oh well, if I do that for my LG G3, it could probably handle it. We're talking like a diffuse, so we're gonna render wireframe. We're gonna render blank walls, so white or gray depending on your GPU. Molly's render gray, I think. Snapdragons, I think, render white, and then they render diffuse color, and then Molly's run like an 8-bit. So they take like the diffuse. So we're okay, guys. Look at we're gonna look at this one. So I'm gonna switch it up real quick. Hey, little render tutorial. So they'll take something like this, and it'll be like an 8-bit version, and then this is like, I think this is like, no, it's not even 512 by 512, but it's small, and 256 by, I think this is 256 by 256, and then they'll expand it to the regular size, so it's kind of like size incrementing, and if it can't upgrade, then it'll just keep it as is. So I've been playing around with some of my phones that I have, like the Lagu Alpha 5, a LG G3, and a LG Power. Just do multiple tests for you guys, so when we actually port this to CopperCube, and then CopperCube ports it to an APK file. So Level Builder basically is Blender, a free modeling software. Brain did for 5 seconds. Go over to CopperCube, which is the game engine, but you can also like import all your models there and create your level there if you have like an asset kit. And then you can go over to from your CopperCube engine, you export it to an APK, install it on your phone, have debug test on, you can run it there. So I'm gonna be putting each level. So you're gonna see this level, the blend file, the CopperCube file, and then the finished APK for that tutorial, or for that particular video in the download. So a media file, there's gonna be a zip file that's gonna contain all those 3 things, and probably a Word doc kind of going over what we did, or some like written stuff. So this is the first level, and then we're gonna use an elevator, which is right over here. Oops, if I can select it. We're going to select it so we can view it. So right over here, there's going to be an elevator. And then you're going to move into the next layer. I'm trying to make it like an open world type 3D game, to where everything's tied into the elevator. So you will have doors that are locked, and you need to continue on with the video game, but you're always going to be like, well, what was in that door? You know, it may not matter to somebody. You know, you may read, there's something I'm picking up from Doom 3, where they have those data pads or PDAs. They're going to have something similar to that, like a holographic PDA, and you're going to be able to read a couple of those, and you find out, oh, that was in that room. So you're not always going to be like wondering what was in that room. Yeah, we'll continue, you know, you continue on during the game, and it's like, well, I'm going to read this PDA, and room 21 was locked on level 1. That was kind of stupid. I'm going to read this, and you find this PDA, and it's like, well, behind that door, there's a new weapon, or there's new ammo type, or there's extra health. And you're like, okay, well, I kind of need extra health, because I've used up health drops everywhere else. I'm just going to, you know, pick up some health over there. Or maybe there's a med bay. I'm just kind of making a little mini open world or open space station. This is a space station. I don't know whether to make it like a mining station, like on Dead Space, or to make it more of a research space station, which may be what I'm going to be going with. So it's going to be a little mini game, maybe 5 or 8 levels, just to like show some variance. I'm going to have some enemies, and we're going to have fun with this little tutorial. Hopefully we're going to have fun. Just comment down below particular stuff that you want to know about this tutorial, or that you would like to have in this tutorial. I have posted versions of a third-person shooter on my channel. This is going to be a full-fledged like tutorial on how to create it, so pickups, UI or like user interface, and then talking to characters, or just like voice stuff and enemy AI and storyline and everything. And then I'm gonna be going back to my first-person shooter, which I thought I kind of covered everything, and some of you guys are kind of like, you dropped it. So I'm gonna go back and I'm just gonna kind of like do a full-fledged FPS tutorial, like all the assets and everything, and finish that. And then I'm gonna go back to Construct 2, maybe jump over to Game Maker. There is a new engine out, or has been out, and some of you guys been asking me to play that or do tutorials for that too. I think it's called the S2 engine. It actually looks really, really good, but it's only for PC. So I was gonna look up or buy that. It's like 20 bucks on um, Steam, and do some tutorials for that before maybe checking out like Game Maker and Unity. So, and then jumping over to Unreal. So I do be doing a whole bunch of game engines. Yeah, I finished college, I think this semester. So I'll be actually finished with my BA. So I'll have my BA in criminal justice before jumping into accounting. Yeah, I'm getting another BA. BA, Bachelor's of Arts. So it's a 4-year degree. Master's, 6 years. Doctorate's about 6 years plus. So I'm just jumping around getting a couple BAs. Yeah. And I also work at the same time. So, yeah. Oh, also, since this is like an informal update, I will, some of you may know that you'll be seeing ads. This is, I'm not gonna like just say big and be like, don't block my channel with ads. I actually don't care if you block all the ads, but the ads are a indirect way of me creating revenue so that I can hire. Currently, I have hired 2 or 3 artists. I know specifically there are like 3 artists, and I think one more, but I'll link them down below. Specifically, I know 2 off the top of my head, and is it Annie Mises, or I'm butchering her last name, and then there's a Swedish guy, which created this dude that you see right here. If I can focus in on him or find him, but this little low poly FPS dude, this guy created. And then if you've noticed in a couple of my other tutorials, I will have a drop ship. I think, yeah, she created one of the drop ships, and then I hired her to create some of the assets for this tutorial video game, so you actually get to see some of her art. But a lot, if not like 100% of the YouTube revenue that I get actually goes to paying them, because they don't like go and like, oh, I'm gonna do it for free because you run a YouTube channel. It's like, no, they run actual like, rates. Like, I know Annie, she's like 20 bucks an hour. So if I hire her, right now she's just doing like drink cans. Like, basically it's like Space Pop and like like a Red Bull clone drink, so you can just see, it's like you'll see a table and it has a drink on it, and if you view it, it'll have like the Space Pop, something like in between Dead Space and another shooting video game. But yeah, she creates a lot of art. He creates art for me too, but he's currently having some issues, and I've been meaning to actually like just hire him full time for art, but can't do that yet. So a lot of the YouTube revenue actually goes to help artists who are freelancing or in between like stable jobs, or just open for just open for doing jobs, and they don't mind. This like doing this low poly stuff doesn't cost me a whole lot, and it's something, but it doesn't give them a whole lot of money, so they could just say, no, I'm going to do a more expensive job, but they take time out of their day saying, yeah, okay, it's just going to take me this amount of hours, you just pay me this, and I can have it to you at the end of the week. So that's what a lot of the YouTube money goes to, guys. So if you want to ad block the channel, go ahead, do so. I'm just telling you guys that's where the money goes to. Also, any of the Amazon, if you guys go to my Amazon link, the little short one, and you buy stuff through that, a lot of that money actually goes to, um, yeah, the artist too. If it doesn't go there, it goes to my college degree, which my college, even on a scholarship, costs money. So some of you may know where I go to college, and it still costs money. So I can't say that I use the YouTube money to buy a Lamborghini. It's not what it's for. It's for giving you guys free assets, helping out a artist who needs to pay the bills, and paying for my college degree. Alright, so I think that's it for now, guys. So I'll finish this tutorial, work on to the FPS tutorial. So somewhere I'm gonna say, hold on, I need to look at my schedule. But I'm gonna say toward the end of this, I say within 2 weeks, I'll be finished with the tutorial series, working on the FPS tutorial series. Doing some pickups, like, weapon switching and everything in Copper Cube. Kind of maxing out Copper Cube at this point. And then I will begin working on the new game engine once I get it, once I learn how to, everything goes. And then working on probably some more Construct 2 tutorials, getting back into that for mobile platforms and for like PlayStation and everything. And then begin working on probably some Game Maker and some other game engines around here, probably a couple of walkthroughs. So I'll see you guys later. Like the video if you liked it, disliked it if you disliked it, comment down below if you would like to see a certain tutorial or a certain game engine that I can do tutorials on. Until next time, guys, peace.